What's going on, guys? It's Bud here, and welcome to episode 18 of the Roundup. In this episode, Atlanta FaZe win the Esports World Cup, a huge bounce back after finishing top six at champs, 100 Thieves on a magical run to the grand finals, and honestly put up a tremendous fight. Plus, we're going to be talking about Rostermania in this video. It's already started, and this has been recorded on Tuesday. It's already started, and it's pretty crazy already. Including a potential organisation change, which could really change the CDL. If you do enjoy, please like, comment, and subscribe. Um, it is really appreciated. First of all, I do want to talk about what is this it for the roundup, for how long, etc. Just so you're aware. So obviously there's going to be a lot of Rostermania stuff because last year the off season was from June to December or something crazy. It was like a 6 month off season. It's obviously going to be shorter this year. It's only going to be 3 to 4 months. I don't know yet. Um, Obviously because of that, a lot of WrestleMania stuff will happen relatively quickly, we assume. But um, it's probably going to be one episode a month until a couple of weeks before the season starts. Like 2 weeks before the season starts, and then we're back to the weekly uploads again. Because we even do weekly uploads during like the break between a major and the first set of online qualifiers for the next major. Um, so yeah, so we'll talk about the Rostermania stuff we've got this video, and then we'll probably just have all the information for the next 3 to 4 weeks and put that into one episode. Unless we have some like game-changing news that I want to talk about straight away. Um, yeah, that's probably what we're gonna do. So yeah, so let's now talk about. We're gonna do the Esports World Cup stuff first, and then we'll talk about um Rostermania. Now there's 27 matches in this Esports World Cup. So when we do our reviews of each game, we're not going to do as in-depth reviews for each game because it'll just take too long ultimately. And I don't want to spend, this isn't going to be like an hour and a half episode. It might be like a 50-minute episode, so it'd be longer than the normal episodes, but shorter than champs, you know, because I wanted to look at most of the games in detail there. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. So obviously, first we're going to talk about FaZe winning the Esports World Cup. Draza, Simp, Abizi, and Celium, and this just improves the Simp and Abizi and Celium's legacy really. Obviously Draza's as well, but they were really good. By far the best team in this event. Um, and they thoroughly deserved to win. So this was the overall standings. So FaZe took the win with 600,000 in prize money, and then 100 Thieves were the runners-up. Vancouver Surge and Optic Gaming were eliminated in the semi-finals, and Ravens Ultra Cloud9 and Boston Breach were eliminated in the quarterfinals. Stallions, Las Vegas Legion, Gentlemates, and Law Gaming all got to the decider in the pool play, and Heretics Falcons, G2 Esports, and Omit Brooklyn didn't win a single game, and they got top 16. So, regarding the actual event, um, I think that the venue looked pretty good, pretty good. Obviously, there wasn't that many fans there. The actual places around the arena looked amazing from what I saw. Um, but the actual production was quite poor on the first day. It was like 3 hours in and we'd only seen the first two games. There was 12 matches on the first day. For me, that was just too much COD. Overall, the event, not saying like the legacy of the event, the actual event itself was probably like a 7 out of 10, maybe. I don't know. But it was only the first year, and I think the Esports World Cup's going to continue. So for a start of year, it was good. What I want to talk about though is the timing of the event because the fact that it's after champs, I just don't think it had as much hype as if it was before champs during the actual CDL season. So maybe they work out an idea for next year to have the Esports World Cup during the Modern Warfare 3, but sorry, during the Black Ops 6 season. I just think that would be better and there'd be more hype. I think Sib from Cloud9 on Twitter actually said, um, everyone gives it their all at Champs, whereas some players didn't give it everything they've got because obviously Champs is the one you want to win. But this is obviously a huge achievement by the people that won, so there's no discredit in that. You're the first ever esports World Cup champions in Call of Duty. That is a massive achievement. Um, so now we're gonna get into the games. So we had a lot, right? Obviously these are American times. I'm not really sure, but obviously it did actually start on Thursday. The first matches we had were because there was two different stages, the main stage and then the other stage. Obviously if you're not aware with the esports World Cup as well, with the key crushing. So each team has like a triangle, which is a key. And once that team gets eliminated, the team that actually eliminates them crushes their key in a hydraulic press. And then whoever wins the whole event gets to pick 3 of the crushed keys to put into their trophy. So FaZe put 100 Thieves', which is fair enough because they beat them in the final. Optics, which again is fair enough, they beat them. And then Toronto Ultra, which everyone said, oh, did Draza ask for that one to be put in? But yeah, overall, the event has got work to do because there were so many game crashes and stuff like that, and round resets in Search and Destroy. Because the players weren't on their CDL accounts, it's kind of different how the game works. Anyway, so this was a bit of a surprise. So Las Vegas Legion beating the Royal Ravens the Royal Ravens winning 3-0 against the Legion. I actually want to bring this game up just to show you the stats. Except from Geo, it was an absolute slammage from the Carolina Royal Ravens. Obviously, Beans making his debut for them, most damage in the lobby. Gwyn looking really good with a 1.6. So yeah, really good from those guys. And then we had Optic versus Omit, and Omit Brooklyn actually took map 1 here. And credit where it's due to Omit, I thought they played quite well. Um, Not in the search and not in the fourth hard point. The invasion was close, but yeah, really good map 1. Spark got 34 kills, but overall it was Shotzi that stole the show here. And Optic did take a 3-1 win. There was obviously no trash talking allowed at this event, but when players did, they were told to calm down or got warned. I actually read that apparently you got 11% cut of your prize money if you're fined, which is kind of crazy. Oh wait, that's champ. Sorry. There we go. Anyway, moving on. We had Surge versus G2. Obviously, G2 had Estrel and Diamond Con, and it was a dominant win for Surge. They looked good. Obviously, O4 looking good, Abuza looking good. Huke had a good series, and yeah, G2 just not good enough really. And then Cloud9 versus Gentlemates, which Gentlemates was Bantz's team, representing a French organisation in this event. And they did take the Search and Destroy, but Cloud9 were on top, which was kind of expected. Was this a bit of a surprise? Maybe not like a major surprise, but Team Heretics, which is obviously Miami, against Boston Breach. It's a 3-1 to the Breach. And if you look at this, like 100-point club, Boston Breach, this is their first win that isn't an online qualifier all year. Probably their last event as an organisation. And Snoopy's finally shown what he's got because it was a really good series out of Boston Breach. Obviously, Cammy Awakening and Purge are all in the CDL at some point in the season we've just had, but obviously did get dropped from their teams. There's so many games to go to off. I apologise. Toronto versus Stallions, 3-0 for Toronto. And funnily enough, Scrap did tweet a picture of Exceed's Burger King breaking point card from the Modern Warfare 2 season after this, which was quite funny. Then you had 100 Thieves versus Law Gaming. Obviously, Law Gaming won Challengers Champs. But it was a 3-1 win for 100 Thieves. But we all know that Law were a good search and destroy team, and they showed it here. They were really, really close to winning the Vista, but they just couldn't do it. Joe Deceives had a good series, and that sent Law to the elimination match. Um, then we had FaZe versus Falcons. This was so easy for FaZe. Falcons don't really have any experience against the NA teams, except at like challenger events, because it is a challengers team, and we could see that. This is the first big shock of the tournament, though. The first time a challenger team um beats an organization that's in the CDL, and it's Gentle Mates eliminating G2 Esports from the competition 3-2. It's a Neslo from Gentle Mates. If we look at the stats here, uh, if you look at the stats, Cobra and Harry, obviously Cobra's been very highly rated, and we'll talk about Cobra when we get to the Rostermania stuff. Really good though from Gentle Mates here to get a win. Obviously means that they wouldn't finish last. Lynn's had a good series. The SMG duo is really good, by the way, for G2/Minnesota Rocker. The ARs, no. I think that's it. I don't think Accuracy has another competitive match again as a player. I think he's going to retire now. Um, that Rio was dominant though from Gentle Mates, but yeah, really impressive stuff from them to get that win. Then we had Legion versus Brooklyn. A lot of people actually were not sure how this series would go because Ultimate Brooklyn didn't play horrendously against Optic. They took a map. Legion got destroyed by Ravens, but it was a 3-1 win for the Legion. Now, the second Challengers team to win and also eliminate another CDL team was the Stallions. And now this was a 3-0. Look how close it was. So yeah, well done to the Stallions here for beating Heretics. I think Heretics really need to just drop the all Spanish act and just pick up a solid team because they looked shit. I'm going to actually show you some of the clips here. So this was Stallions winning map 1, just. So yeah, good play there from the Stallions. Really nice two-piece from Exceed as well. And then they obviously won the round 11, which I'll show you here, putting themselves in a really good position to not come last. Thought I clicked on. Oh, it's glitched actually. Sorry, I didn't realise that. Yeah. Really impressive there, to be fair, to get the 3v4. And yeah, well done to Stallions because I thought Heretics would win this match. But they managed to advance. to the last chance decider to get into the knockouts. Where are we at? So there's so many games I've got to try and find here, so I do apologize. Right, we had this was this the only game that went to a game? Oh wait, no, that one went to a game 5. We actually had two challenger teams against each other. We had Law Gaming versus Team Falcons, and it was almost a Neslo from the Falcons, but it was a 3-2 win for Law Gaming. If we look at the stats, Arcity's had a really good series here. Pretty much 21,000 damage. Not even a bullet would have made it closer. Xnid had a good series for the Falcons, but it was a really interesting series, let's say. But we obviously know that Law Gaming are typically a good search and destroy team, and they showed it in the invasion. And they advance. And yeah, for the Falcons with the crowd at their home, it's not a home event, but they're the team that are closest to the arena. They'll be disappointed, of course. Then this is where the dominoes started to fall for what the bracket would look like, because Cloud9 lose to Vancouver Surge. And this wasn't expected. Sib obviously does well. Again, it's a Boozer and Brezzy and all 4 and Hugh. They're just showing what they've got. I do genuinely think that Champs was a one-off, like how bad they played. Losing to the Heretics. I'm going to show you a couple of maps here. This was honestly a crazy series. Really nice clutch there. And then obviously I'm just going to show you the way that they finish off this series. This is where they started to play out with the bracket though, because obviously Surge winning means that they're the top. They win Group B, um, which obviously was expected to be Cloud9, which means Cloud9 have to win their game against Gentlemates in order to face Optic Gaming or the Carolina Royal Ravens in Group A. The winner of whoever wins Group A, sorry. By the way, at this point, I actually thought that Cloud9 were going to win. Yeah, really good play from Surge to win Group B. Right, where are we now? Uh, right, then we had obviously Optic versus Carolina for the Group A winner. Optic won this 3-1. Realistically, they should have won the search, but I think they bottled it. Uh, they heavily outslayed the Ravens and sent them to the last chance qualifier where they'd rematch against Vegas Legion. Then we had Toronto Ultra versus Boston Breach, and this was a pretty dominant win again for for Toronto. The first map was close. After that, none of the maps were close. Scrap just showing what he does best, ultimately. Um, as always at the moment, though, as always. Then we've got 100 Thieves versus FaZe. This was a 3-0 for FaZe, and I mean they literally 6-0'd them. 6-star dominant. Then we had the rematch between Ravens and Legion, and it was a 3-1 win for the Carolina Royal Ravens. A much better showing, though, I would say. It was a better showing from the Legion, but top 12, and potentially that's it for the Las Vegas Legion, as we'll talk about later. Cloud9 versus Gentlemates rematch. We'd love to have seen Gentlemates win that, but it was Cloud9. A good showing, though, from Gentlemates, I would say. Then we had 100 Thieves versus Law Gaming. This was a pretty convincing win for 100 Thieves. And the same with the Boston Breach to beat the Stallions 3-0, which maybe wouldn't have been a huge shock if it was a close series, but Boston Breach go to the bracket. So that's it for the pool player. Then we had the bracket. Now, the bracket was single elimination, okay? I'm not really a massive fan of that, especially with there being a best of 5. Literally, I think that there should have been best of 7s and a best of 9 final, but it wasn't. The first one we start off with is Vancouver Surge beating the Ravens 3-2 and knocking them out of the tournament. Abuza had a really good series here. This was the Abuza that we've seen since he's changed to an AR. There was some heavy words on the mic after the match, saying basically calling Gwyn out that he shouldn't have won Rookie of the Year. Then there was a massive back and forth on Twitter. Even Gwyn's mum was very disappointed with what Abuza was saying, and yeah, it got um, a bit not out of control, but yeah, there was some drama there. Really good player there from Surge for the 2v2 retake, especially on that B site in Invasion. It is always like if you can kill one of them. So as soon as they killed who was it? Can't think. As soon as they left Fellow vulnerable though, he was screwed. But he almost did it, to be fair. Then we had FaZe versus Breach. This was just a dominant from FaZe. I'm not going to go into that. Then the Ultra versus Thieves. These matches have been amazing between these two teams, and Ultra go home top 8. Um, and Ultra outslayed them, but that means nothing if you don't win the series. 100 Thieves take it, winning a round 11, which I'll show you now. huge map win from Thieves, and obviously they take the series. And yeah, Ultra. Wow. What do Toronto Ultra do next? Well, you'll find out very shortly. Then the final quarter-final match was Optic Gaming versus Cloud9, which was won 3-1 by Optic Gaming in the orange jersey, which I quite like the orange jersey, to be fair. Again, not the best of tournaments from Hydra, to be honest. Kismet was the best player on Cloud9 for this match. Kenny had a really good series. I'm just going to show you the ending of this map 4. It was nice to hear the crowd as well, because obviously one of the issues with this event was that there wasn't like, except for when Falcons played, there wasn't like too much crowd noise, but there was some good crowd noise there. So that set us up with the semi-finals of Optic FaZe and 100 Thieves Vancouver. So 100 Thieves or Surge are making the final. Right. This is honestly, out of all the FaZe Optic series this year, I know FaZe was 7-1 against Optic. Optic won the CDL World Championships. FaZe won the Esports World Cup. But FaZe really did have Optic's number, and they do send them home here. And it was a pretty easy win for FaZe, except map 1, where they looked absolutely horrendous. Now, by the way, this first map was reset at 100 to like 10 or something ridiculous. And Optic just, after the reset, just carried on as normal. They were really good. Then they got destroyed in the search and destroy and did pretty poor in the invasion. But then it got to sub base, and I'm thinking that Optic beat FaZe on sub base. It just didn't happen. FaZe have really improved on sub base, I think. But obviously, it wasn't played at all at Champs. But yeah, well done to FaZe. And then we had the 100 Thieves versus Surge match, and this wasn't even close. Honestly, really impressive tournament from 100 Thieves, and a really impressive tournament from Surge, but they just couldn't get it over the line here. Which then led us to a FaZe versus Thieves final. I'm going to be honest, I thought it would be 4 or 4-1, but it was a tough 4-2 win. It was a really good series. For real, it was a really good series, but it's FaZe that won it. These are the stats. Celium was outrageous. He had the joint most kills and the least deaths by a mile, and the most damage. It was arguably Celium's best performance in the entire CDL season. It's not even the CDL season, but this is his best performance of 2024. Really good from Celium. And yeah, obviously it was looking like it was going to be it was a good start for FaZe, but then round 11 in the search, if FaZe won this, I think it would have been a 4-0. Really good from Thieves. And then, honestly, this was just as impressive because it was 4 easy defensive rounds of high-rise control. Thank God we don't have to see any more high-rise control or high-rise in general. But then Thieves just came out of nowhere on the round 5 offense. I want to just point out, right? Obviously, Ghosty gets his flowers and his props, and rightly so. He's an amazing player. But how good was Joe Deceives in this tournament? And Kremper Nasty, but Joe Deceives is only 19 years old, by the way. In his rookie season, he was put on the LAG team at 18-year-old, and he had good moments. He had a lot of bad moments, but it was his rookie season. He has a lot of potential, like a lot of potential. I always thought it was harsh him being dropped in the first place after Major 1 this season instead of Afro. When he came back in, though, he showed what he's got. So then map 3 was one, and then um, it was two dominant maps after that from FaZe. After FaZe won this Karachi, I thought FaZe would win 4-2, and they did. And I'm going to show you, obviously, the way that FaZe win the Esports World Cup. And it's invasion control just to finish it off, just like at Champs. Yeah, congrats to FaZe. Props where it's due. They were the best team of the weekend, but a massive well done to Thieves. And I know coming second, they're gonna get like what was it, like $300,000 between them or something. That's amazing money for them. Obviously, you want to win a chip, so you've got a massive accolade because it's like winning the Esports World Cup. If it's a yearly event, will be a really good accolade because it's better than winning a major. Obviously, it's not the ring, but um, yeah, I think that solidifies that FaZe are going to stick next year because it's now time to talk Rostermania. Okay, there's a bit we've got to talk a little bit about Rostermania here. Um, this was the first shock. Now, no, it's not a shock, sorry. This was the first, how do you say it? The piece of the puzzle. So Insight tweets that he's been allowed to explore all options and will be a restricted free agent for next season. So Insight is not going to be on the Ultra squad next season, but Ultra aren't just going to straight up release him because they want to try and get some money for him as he's under contract. I'm not shocked about this because I think Insight was the best player at Ultra at that major in Boston at Major 1 when they won it. He was amazing, but he dropped off ever since. I think if Ultra want to compete with Optic and FaZe, who ultimately have had the best 2 seasons, as they've won 2 events each, I think they need to try and improve on 2 of their positions at least. So Insight is now a restricted free agent. Now this is obviously going to open up a lot, right? And we've got a lot to talk about um regarding Rostermania already. We don't have like tons. Um there's a lot though that I need to mention. So this is the first big part as well. Now this is Team Falcons are now expected to replace the Vegas Legion next season. Legion as an organisation will no longer exist, players and staff have been told. So I'm kind of wanted to talk about this one in a bit more detail than the Insight stuff. So if you guys know me, you know my thoughts on like Saudi money. Overall I'm not really a fan of it. But if the Falcons coming into the league would offer more majors, I think that would be a good thing for the league in general. Vegas Legion did nothing. They offered the minimum fee, minimum pay. They released players in the off season so they didn't have to pay them. They didn't host any events. They were just a team in the league that did nothing. They were a poverty org, okay, as they're known. Falcons have the potential to do some damage to the top teams. They've got the money. Will they put together? So people are saying, will they go for the Saudi players again to try and make Saudi locals great at the game, or will they do what they've done in pretty much every other esport, which is dominate and have the best players and players that have been the best at some point in their teams? You see, obviously their CS team isn't amazing, but they've obviously got big players in like Dupree, and they've had even Simple for a month's loan, who's arguably the GOAT of Counter Strike. Obviously they just won Warzone champs. Also, they won the Esports World Cup Warzone event. I think the players though that they've got won the Warzone champs as well when they weren't on the Falcons. So will they come in and try and activate buyout clauses for Hydra, Scrap, Shotzi? We'll have to see what they do ultimately. I can understand why some people don't want the Falcons in. I just think if they can offer to host an event, that'd be good. We could also see their Saudi team potentially take part in challenges again, and then they've got obviously it's a city-based thing though, so they're not going to be Vegas Falcons. Could they obviously go like Riyadh Falcons? We don't know, but I expect that Boston Breach, if they're not going to be a thing anymore, they'll be replaced. And I think Los Angeles Guerrillas will also be replaced now. So I think we'll have 3 new teams in the CDL next season. This is a lot to talk about here. There's a lot on the CDL Scrim and Tell page. A lot of people that have already been released, etc. But these are the big 2, and I'm going to start with the second with the biggest ones, which is Cobra is expected to join the Minnesota Rocker. Obviously, as I mentioned, I think Cobra's looked really good in challenges. He's always been talked about as being CDL quality. He played well at the Esports World Cup for Gentlemates. He's now expected to join the Minnesota Rocker for next season. Obviously, accuracy's already gone. I don't know what's happening with Diamond, Connor, Estrel, and Linz. With Linz, though, I expect Linz to stay on the Minnesota Rocker because I think Linz is a very, very good player with huge potential. He played with Cobra last year in challenges, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I would be shocked if Linz leaves Rocker if Cobra's joining, to be honest. Unless he gets offered, unless someone pays his buyout clause from the top 4, which won't happen. So yeah, I think Cobra getting in the league is a good thing, but potentially picking the team you're already going to be joining for next season is quite risky, I think. Now this is the big one, and obviously it's got a lot of likes because it is a big one. Ghosty is sticking with 100 Thieves for Black Ops 6. So they're going to activate the team option. It would be stupid if they didn't activate the team option. The best player outside the top 4 teams last year, no doubt about it. Yeah, really good season for him, and obviously to get to the final of the Esports World Cup as well is amazing. That's obviously 3 finals he's already been in his really short CDL career. This was his first full season as well. What was funny in the replies, obviously Supermax. What Joe Deceive says, "What about me? What about me?" So does Kremp, and Nasty says, "Wait, I'm in that pick. Does that mean I'm good?" So the rumor going round, it's not a rumor. The theory going round is that they might keep the same team for next year. Which I think after finishing 4th at Champs and 2nd at EWC, I don't see an issue with it personally. If there's improvements available, like Insight, for example, for Nasty, should they make it? Maybe, but again, they've got the teamwork. I assume that they're all on good terms with each other. They enjoy playing COD together. It depends if they want to try and. I mean, the last 2 events they have broken the top 4. Could the league be a top 5 a 5-team league? Could it be a 6-team league with Falcons? we'll have to just see ultimately. But I think Ghosty deserves to stay on a roster where he's like the leader of the team because he is. He's the main man, and he's too talented not to be. Obviously, a team could still activate his buyout clause, though, like Toronto Ultra, for example, or Cloud9. So CDL Scrim also says that he can guarantee that that won't be the only one. I assume that's because he thinks that something's going to happen with Gorillas or Boston spots, which is good. Phoenix is a free agent coach. He was coaching the Legion during the CDL season, but I don't think he was there at EWC. Gio's a free agent, Nero's a free agent, and Fame's a free agent, and so is Johnny. So that was obviously expected. This is what Vegas Legion do. They don't activate team options. However, there was a rumor going around that Tactical Rab said that apparently they activated Attach's buyout, his team option. But if Vegas Legion's leaving, does this mean that Falcons want Attach? I'm just not really sure what's happening there. Attach though, obviously if Attach had left as a free agent, I do think Minnesota Rocker. No, I think Toronto Ultra could have potentially picked him up. Sorry. This was a bit of a disappointing one for both of these guys because I think they both deserve to stay on the teams. But Beans has been released and is a free agent, and so is TJ Halley. Again, it's just that it's Carolina's way. They don't really keep players. I think they'll keep Gwyn though because he's an exception because he's the rookie of the year. Abuza, by the way, is a free agent. He didn't have a team option in his contract, so Abuza's also a free agent. Whether he stays on Surge remains to be seen. They also say that he doesn't expect Insight to be the only Ultra player to treat restricted free agent. I thought if Insight leaves, Kleenex does with him. But now I think that it could just be Insight and Envoy. They keep Kleenex because he was the second best player. And then they try and pick up two players that can improve the team. Who, though, is a different question. If they were to get rid of Insight and Envoy, if I was Toronto Ultra, I would be trying to pick up Abuza for Insight, and I just don't know on the SMG front. I really don't know who they'd go for. Could they go back for Hixie? Potentially, but I don't think that would ever happen because Ultra need to have a team that could challenge FaZe and Optic next season, and I don't think that bringing Hixie back would do that, in my opinion. I don't know, ultimately. I mean, I think there's players that are better than Envoy this season, like Linz is probably better than Envoy. Draw Deceived, I just don't know, ultimately, what'll happen, but Accuracy's also been released as a free agent. I think that's him done. I don't think he'll get on a team. And obviously Insight, which we mentioned. So, my take of the off-season Rostermania stuff is already starting. Obviously, I don't expect announcements for players to be signed onto teams for a while. So that's why we're not going to do many roundup episodes until this closer to the season starting, where we get the rules, how many majors is going to be, stuff like that. I think that was just pretty obvious that we would do that though. We didn't. I mean, we could do stuff for every week, but I don't think I'd enjoy it if there's no matches on, to be honest. But yeah, well done again to FaZe for winning the Sports World Cup. And Celium was the tournament MVP, which was rightly deserved in my opinion. I think FaZe and Optic are the only teams that will 100% stay next season. I mean, Dashi, obviously Optic might have already sorted out a contract for Dashi. It would be a massive shame if Dashi left, but, you know, he is officially a free agent. Unless he's already signed something. Anyway, that is going to be the end of this episode, and yeah, that's going to be it for a few weeks. Quite sad. It's been an amazing season of Call of Duty, which now comes to a close. And the roundup ever since I started it after Major 3, during Major 3, has been absolutely amazing. I've loved doing every single episode. Obviously, 18 have been completed. Obviously, as well, I just want to talk about the analytics. Is it? Analytics? I'm not even sure how to say it. So, the videos with the most views was Optic winning champs and Optic winning Major 3. I kind of expect that. To anyone that's liked any of the videos or subscribed to any of the videos during the MW3 season, massive thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Like I said last week, it's just gonna stay as like episode 25, for example. It wouldn't be the 25th episode for Black Ops 6. It would just be, I don't know, like the third or fourth episode for Black Ops 6. It'll just all remain on the same playlist on the YouTube, so you can watch back all the old episodes. And as always, they'll be chaptered, so you can just go to the bits that you want, which I think is really important to have, especially when episodes last, between 30 minutes and even an hour and 30 minutes for the Champs one. But I think that was only because it was Champs that I spoke about it for that long. So yeah, that is it for the MW3 season. It's now the off season. Rostermania. I don't think Rostermania will be that good because Optic and FaZe are sticking. I think Cloud9 are going to stick, unfortunately. And obviously it looks like Ultra are going to be the only top team that make a change. I think if LA Thieves don't stick as well, I think this off season is going to be really disappointing. I've got to remember to talk about it being LA Thieves again and Optic Texas, not and Cloud9 New York. No, the franchising's back. But thank you very much to everyone that's watched this episode. Like, comment, subscribe if you've enjoyed. And yeah, there'll still be other videos on the channel, Spudball and Life is Strange, double exposure's coming out in a couple of months. So towards like a month of that, I think we're going to start talking theories and what we predict is going to happen during double exposure and stuff like that. But for now, I'm going to go. Enjoy the rest of your day. This will be out obviously tomorrow, which will be Wednesday at 6 p.m. as always. Bye for now.